Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Recipe Tuesday. I'm doing something a little different this time. Instead of me putting out a specific recipe, I decided to make myself visual so you could see me. Jan from New York City Saves Money, is alongside with me this time. I know it's been a little while since she's been on my Recipe Tuesday segment. And I'm glad that you were able to stop by as
Hey,
always.
Steve and
Hey,
everyone.
Jan. So we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to talk about the topic of beans, you know, and I know we all know what what beans are. It's a complex carb, and I know that, not that I'm trying to sound too much information here, but beans have a tendency to talk back to us too, if depending on depending on how much we eat. So I mean, it's just a part of the, it just goes with the territory. But there are ways around when you prepare beans. I actually found this little tip out, and then I'll come over to you. That my dad's childhood friend, he had known for since the late 40s. He's in a better place now. That he's with my dad now, and he had mentioned about putting a little bit of baking soda when you're cooking your beans, and
Wow.
that's supposed to relieve the gassy effect when we eat the beans.
Amazing.
So so you know,
Steve, beans for me were an acquired taste. I was not raised on eating beans at all whatsoever. There's only two types of quote closest resemblance to beans in my family growing up, and that would be lentils, okay?
hmm
And
yeah,
the other one was early June peas, like little
okay,
bit. I love those. But as
yeah,
far as like all those other beans, I didn't really have a garbanzo bean till I was like 18. And I had it at
okay,
one of those all you could eat buffets, and I just fell instantly in love with that because I'm just not a bean person. But I know
hmm
people that are like very beanish. Now, as I got older, I have a better appreciation of beans. Like I do like cannellini beans, the white cannellini beans in certain soups. They are really, really good. Guess what,
right.
Steve? Did you ever hear of crunchy beans in your life? Ever hear of it?
I've heard of it, but I don't ever recall ever eating it. I've heard of it
Well,
though.
well, the person that introduced it to me, Lisa, if you're watching, you know who you are. Lisa introduced me to crunchy beans. Okay. I don't know the exact specific name. There are a ton of videos out there, just for the record, that give the specific recipe how to do it. Basically, Steve, you're taking garbanzo beans, and it doesn't have to be from scratch. It could be from your can, which makes it even better. Very convenient, healthy snack. Drain. You have the trick is to keep drying them out, and basically I guess you spray some oil or put it in oil, whatever the specific recipe is, and put
hmm
flavor on it, Steve. And then you bake it. And then at the end of the day, not you don't need a whole day to bake it. I've just used that expression.
Yeah.
They come out crunchy, like peanuts. They come out like a pop in
Oh.
your mouth, peanutty crunch
Hmm.
with flavor. This is wonderful because this is very inexpensive and beans are full of protein, Steve. People forget
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah. They are.
it's a good source.
Um. Well, my dad, being from Tennessee, you know, uh, one of the first beans that I recall being introduced to as a little boy was lima beans, which today I still like them, the little, the green. And then I learned about the Ford Hook lima, which is the bigger version of it. And I knew, and then as time went by, a little bit older, or maybe even as a little boy, I don't remember, I can't remember that far back. Of course, I know about navy bean, great northern beans, pinto beans. Now, I will say this: Catalini bean, whether you know it or not, is nothing more than a white kidney bean. That's all it is.
Yes.
Uh, let's see, kidney bean. I do like black beans. There's one called black bean. Those are pretty
Mhm.
good.
I have to try.
Um,
I never ate a black bean.
you'll be
Mhm.
they're good. They're good.
Mhm.
And then of course, you have your black eyed peas, as
Mhm.
everybody. All right, this is where I might throw you for a loop because this is really more of a down here thing, but that's not saying it you have field peas with snaps. What that is it looks like it looks like a black eyed pea, but you got little pieces of green bean thrown in with it. That's the snap.
Oh,
You have
okay.
you have that. You've got one called purple hull peas. You can, if you ever want to try them, you can always order a can. Bush's makes them. And then you have another one called Crowder peas. So unless you're really from down this way, I don't think too many, I could be wrong. I don't want to point judgment, but the only time I've ever known about purple hull, Crowder, and field peas is down here.
I
I never
agree.
really,
I never heard of that. So you're
they're
probably on the
pretty
right
good.
track. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're pretty good. If you like black eyed peas, you'll like them. Um,
Steve,
Crowder peas.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Crowder peas is a little different. It doesn't look like a black eye or a purple hull, but they're also good too.
I just want to say, I want to jump in a second. I have a 2-ingredient recipe for bean dip. 2-ingredient. And these days, the less ingredients, the more money you save. Very simple.
Yep.
All you need are either or white cannellini beans or red kidney beans. Same item, it's just different color.
Mhm.
And all you're going to need is a splash of, I'll use the name, Wishbone Italian dressing. Now,
Okay.
yeah, you're just going to put in the food processor, put in your beans first with a little bit of that dressing. Not a lot. It's very flavorful. I would say like literally a splash. Whirl it together.
Okay.
Take it out. You are done. You could always add more. Remember, you could always add to, but you can't take from.
Take
So
away.
always,
That's right.
So you could just put in a little bit. 2 ingredients. Most people have both things in their home.
Okay. I think at another venture, I think when we were just you know running our mouth back and forth, I think you mentioned that to me
I
at
love
one
it.
time.
That's how much I love it.
Yeah.
You know
Okay.
what else you could do if you really want to get creative? You could, with that, you can add, those bacon bits, those already done up bacon bits pre-cooked in
Okay.
the jar. You could sprinkle a little bit of that and give it a smoky addition to
A
it.
smoky flavor. Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, that would go good with like Fritos corn chips and things like that, for dipping. Or
Yes.
I guess if you wanted to be a little more healthy, you could do vegetables. You could dip your celery or your carrots or whatever.
Somebody shows up at the last minute. We get the call sometimes. Hey, I'm in the neighborhood. Can I stop over? You're like, oh my gosh, I want to put something out.
Out.
Go to your
Yeah.
pantry. Run to the pantry. Drain it. Plop it inside the processor. Add your dressing. Whatever else you want to add to it. Done. Put that out with chips. You got something you could automatically serve that last minute guest. And they will not be disappointed.
Giving me an idea for the holidays. Just something.
Definitely. With a little salsa on the side too, if you happen to have that. That's
Oh, salsa, yeah. I'll tell you what makes good salsa. I mean, even though beans is the subject here, but if you can get your hands on Rotel tomato,
yeah.
the Rotel, it comes at whatever you have, mild, original, and those that like the hot, which I'm not really a hot person. You could make a salsa out of that, and that takes 3 to 5 minutes. It's nothing.
That is a good quality product. I thumbs up the Rotel. I've used it. I've done it. It's a good quality product. And yeah, it's like an instant party. Even if you like just having movie night with your family, you could make your own bean dip. Beans could do so many things. Some people put it with rice. Some people put it with pasta. There are a whole lot of different things. I just thought I saw at a glance a recipe. I think it was a video about making like some sort of a garbanzo bean stew with eggplant. Talk about healthy. No meat, and it sounds very affordable.
I like eggplant, but I don't have it that often. But
yeah,
but I do like it.
I love it though. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I have I have a video that I had done maybe very early this year, or maybe even late last year, where I did a taco mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the ingredients that it calls for is the Rotel tomato, or the
Bingo.
can.
Yeah.
And it's really good. You could either use the original or the mild or Old El Paso or the taco seasoning, because that's another ingredient you put in. It's really good. It's really good.
Look at all these recipe ideas you guys got just from one pantry item. That's why, Steve, it's so important, like we emphasize, about the stockpile, for example. You take that $5, even $2, every grocery haul. Get a can of beans or peas or something that will serve as a great ingredient. You never know. You just never know. It's good to have it.
Yeah. So, that just gives some ideas. Coming back to the beans, like you, because I do have people need to understand there is a difference between Italian and Sicilian. It is two separate nationalities, because if you ever get it, if you heard somebody speak in Italian and you heard somebody speak in Sicilian, it's a different language.
You're right.
I mean, they may be right there real close together, but it's two separate altogethers. But I did grow up with the lentils as well. I've got a couple of three. Well, I shouldn't say three. I've got a couple varieties of, how to go about lentils. My mom's way of doing it, which I mentioned many times over.
This is Debbie from How Debbie Saves. I'm going to mute this 1 second.
All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue. I have a couple varieties on how to go about making lentils. You could use,
Thank you, Steve.
Oh, that was it? Okay. I was just call her back. I was telling them that to do my recipe, you need a couple Roma tomatoes, a potato. I always wondered where the potato came in. The potato, believe it or not, is an acidity killer of the tomato.
Truth.
And then you put a little bit of meat flavoring. You could put bacon in it. You could put meat, whatever meat flavoring you want to put. And then you cook it, and you add your olive oil, your spices. That's one way. Another way is take cooked spaghetti sauce, add it to your lentils, a couple of tablespoons or 3, you according to your taste, and then you cook it. But I like to cook it along the way, adding a little olive oil. And
That's
I'm loyal.
Good, Steve. I've had that. That is quite
It
good.
is. And I'm loyal to the Pompeian Robust olive oil. That's all I'll use. You can talk about other brands. That's fine. But that's been used in my family for many years. I do believe my grandmother even used it. So, and she passed away back in the late 60s. So that tells you how long it's been in my family,
Thanks,
so
Grandma.
Yeah. And it might even be before that. I don't know. I can only go back as far as her. But yeah, that's to give a few people about beans. So don't shy away from beans. I mean, I wouldn't want to eat it 3 times a day, or anything like that. It's good to have beans, say a couple, maybe 3 days a week, as a part of a meal, because it's very good. It's a source of fiber. It is carbs, protein.
Budget stretcher.
Budget stretcher. So, all right. Well, I can't really think of much more to say. This was just a little.
Stock up on beans, guys. Stock up on it. If you get a good sale, especially, stock up. 023 is going to be a bit of a yo-yo in the financials.
Yeah, and do keep a lookout. Like I said, I've got Publix, and I have Winn-Dixie and Harvey's, and another, which is an offspring of Winn-Dixie. I've got those grocery stores, and a lot of the time they do a lot of buy one, get one free. So keep your eyes open. Beans is a very good thing to have in your diet. Now, I'm not saying eat it every day. I wouldn't want to, but a couple, 3 days a week, if you can intertwine it in as a side, you're good.
I think you and I need to make those crunchy beans once, even near the holidays. I think just for the fun of it.
Sure, I'll give it a try. Yeah, it can't be all that difficult.
I bet it could be done in the air fryer. I'm going to try to see if there's like an air fryer version of that.
check and see. Yeah, and if you
Yeah.
find out anything, yeah, I'll look up too. Okay. Well, I'm glad you came aboard. Like I
Thanks for
said, this is
having me.
sure no problem. And as we all know, everybody that does know, yesterday was your birthday.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
you're welcome. So that, hopefully,
Thanks everybody for your well wishes, by the way. I had such a ball. Thank you so much.
yeah. All right. Well, we thank you for being here this morning, and we will see you guys back here on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I hope everybody has a good remainder of your day. See you all next time. Bye.
Bye.